Super Mario Galaxy. This was one of Nintendo's more ambitious Mario projects at the time, but that ambition would lead to a treasure trove of glitches and other cool exploits. Like this one where I'm walking inside this wall to get to Luigi faster, or even where I managed to die in the observatory, which isn't supposed to happen. A couple things first though. All these glitches and exploits are possible to perform on the 3D All-Stars version, as that's the version I've done them on. Also, slight spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't played this game: when you collect all 120 stars with Mario and then beat the game,
Super Luigi Galaxy!
Luigi has a faster running speed as well as a higher jump, which makes him a perfect candidate for our first movement exploit, getting up to the garden area of the observatory before it's unlocked. To understand this, we first have to learn about 2P jumps. 2P, or 2-player jumps, give you an extra bit of height if you time a homing ground pound just before it. For this, you will have to have 2 controllers to get it down. But I'm just one person! Actually, you don't have to hold 2 controllers at once to do this. To practice this, first do a backflip, then perform a spin, quickly followed by a ground pound. This will cause Luigi to start a homing ground pound. The timing between the ground pound and spin is crucial, but once you think you got it, just pause the game and get the second controller ready. Unpause with the first controller, then hover the cursor over Luigi with the second controller and press A. You should see him get an extra high jump while a magical jingle plays. Once you've got that down, it's time to move on to the next step. In order to actually get up to the spot where you can perform the 2P jump right when you first get to the observatory, you'll want to head over to the little bridge leading to the kitchen, then backflip up onto the slippery roof. While you slide down, hold in the direction Luigi is sliding down in, then jump, hold the opposite direction, and spin. You may need to spin a few times in order for it to go through, but chaining these together will help you get up the roof and eventually have access to the upper engine area. Now here's where the real fun begins. Standing on top of the entrance to the upper engine room, you want to backflip while keeping the jump button held, and at the peak of your jump, perform a 2P jump. Again, you have a lenient window to press A on the second controller in order to get the jump, just as long as you spin then ground pound quickly. You will then have to wall jump off the bottom of the garden entrance, and then spinning while moving towards the walkway should be just enough to get you up to the top. Speaking of other ways to get high, you can break reality by launching either of the brothers high in the air. The secret? Any shoreline. While completely submerged underwater, you want to hold down on the control stick, spin, then upon touching the shoreline again, hold up and spin again. The timing is rather precise, but it's not really that hard. If you're not exactly holding up, say off to the left or right, the brothers' angle will be skewed, launching you off course, possibly even to your demise. Now I could go on about how jumping off of a honeycomb as B Mario, if you spin at a certain time your vertical speed will exponentially increase. And while that may be cool, it's not as cool as exploring the normally unexplorable parts of a planet. In Freeze Flame Galaxy's third star, you'll come to a planet that has both a water and lava section. In this pathway, there are a couple of tall walls that slant towards the top. By using a triple jump with the first jump being right about when you touch this line, if you spin while moving to the left, you will slide off the sloped portion. If you're able to get Mario to slide forwards, you can use the slope jump technique from earlier to make it up to this wall, where you can wall jump and spin to get over. What's odd is the amount of collision there is on this portion of the planet, though it's not all perfect, as you may even hit a water patch or two. In fact, I explored enough to the point I ended up getting stuck in a never-ending cycle of nauseating gravity changes, and oh my god, ground pounding just made it worse. Let's move on before I get sick. Actually, this transition to the observatory is a perfect time to explain how I managed to die in said place. There's normally a magical power that will send you back to the observatory if you try to fall off it. Considering this game also doesn't give you fall damage, as that would probably happen when switching between gravities, it would be safe to say that there is no possible way to die here. Or so I thought, until I came across a video by YouTuber SPG64 who had shattered that sense of security with an honestly pretty clever way of getting around failsafes, such as not being able to use the Red Star's flying power-up while launching to the Trial Galaxy planet, or even fly to the planet with the power-up active. First, and most obvious, is that you'll need the red star to appear in the Comet Observatory, which can be done by reaching the Gateway Galaxy and collecting the purple coin star. Next, you'll want to break open the glass it's encased in, but don't collect it yet. Instead, launch yourself to the Trial Galaxy planet and walk around to the other side of this yellow part of the planet. You'll want to recenter the camera so it'll end up facing towards the observatory. Run under the Luma, immediately side flip and perform a homing ground pound. After this, you'll want to perform another homing ground pound from a little distance away. The angle you are sent here is key, because you're going to want to use that momentum to fly off the planet and towards the red star. You can spin to get to the red star if you need to, and if you touch the ground that's okay, as long as you instantly jump off of it. These quick jumps can trick the game into thinking the last safe solid place you landed was the planet, rather than the observatory. Falling out of bounds will bring you back to the planet with the power-up in tow. From here, all you need to do is spin after jumping and you should fly. If for some reason this doesn't happen, you can enter a level and come back to try again, or just reset the game. But if you can fly, just keep going away from the observatory. You'll see it get smaller behind you. That is, until your power-up runs out and you're forced to fall down. Since you're much further away than intended, you'll die and respawn back to the spawn point. And yes, it is possible to game over here as well, though nothing special will happen. Here's something that's pretty easy to get down. In the Bubble Breeze Galaxy, after collecting the 5 star pieces to spawn the launch star and fly over to the second half of the level, you're usually meant to follow the long path to get around to the star. Though, when you first land on this part of the level, you can hear the stars shining nearby.
Yeah!
You can actually backflip onto this rock formation, and from there long jump over to the star, saving you a good bit of time in the process. While we're on a time save kick, in Ghostly Galaxy's first mission, you are to save Luigi in the Haunted Mansion. There's a key just outside the mansion you can grab to unlock the door to enter, but who needs that when you can clip through shit? It's as simple as long jumping past the platform here and using the pull star to pull you under the mansion, then using this top pull star to clip you inside, because for some reason they didn't consider you could go under it to get inside. This means you still have to get the boom mushroom to make it to Luigi to finish the level, but maybe I don't feel like it. Instead, you can do a harder setup to clip partially through the outside wall to make it directly to Luigi. There were some other setups for this first part, but I'll show you what I'm calling the GlitchDoctor method. Head over to this broken edge of the floor, face down towards the camera, jumping and moving mid-air to get to this part of the floor. Maintaining your angle, jump and move off the platform, and when you fall down just below the mansion, hold up and spin. There's a chance you'll have to wall jump off of what looks like nothing, and doing so while keeping the jump button held, followed by spinning, should be enough to get you onto an invisible platform. If Mario stands on the platform and then looks like he's gonna fall off, you can spin and hold in the direction of this wall to get back on. You want to be close to the left wall in order to stay on. From here, face straight forward and line up the camera so that you can see this much of the dark spot on this floor here, but not any more than this. You then want to backflip and hold down for only part of the time you're midair, keeping the stick neutral after. This should allow you to grab onto a ledge. Now here comes another fun part. You want to quickly tap up, immediately followed by a spin, then quickly tap down and hold left. This can be tricky to get down, but you should end up letting go of the ledge and aligning yourself straight into the wall. Holding left will allow Mario to walk like this without clipping back through the wall. Finally, moving up left just as you pass this line, immediately followed by a long jump while holding the jump button, you can spin and move back so that you get enough height and make it right to Luigi. I almost hadn't even known this clip was a thing, had it not been for the world record holder for the any % Mario category as of this video, Tibs. This was a maddening trick to get down, but upon asking for their help with the setup, it greatly helped me out and allowed this glitch to be displayed. You can also do the same with Luigi, though for the backflip and ledge grab, Luigi's backflip is a lot higher that you don't even need to set up for a ledge grab, cause with some trial and error, you can land right in the perfect spot, and even perform a single jump rather than a long jump to finish the level. Though this setup didn't stop me from dying I don't know how many times, cause either way, it's still pretty hard. It's neat to see what some speedrunners can find, and boy have they come up with some doozies. In Toy Time Galaxy's first mission, when you reach the giant Mecha Bowser, because Mario Sunshine was apparently not enough to convince the Koopa family that giant robot versions of yourself is probably not a good idea, you can long jump off this leg, and using spins and a series of wall kicks, you can get up to the head without needing to clear all the mini puzzles to do the same thing. There's one more thing I want to demonstrate, and somehow it's a little more broken than I originally thought. In Loop-de-Loop Galaxy, you are taught how to ride a manta ray so you can pass a water slide obstacle course. If this is not your first time coming here, you can ask him to teach you again. It's after this text box closes that you'll want to perform a frame-perfect jump when the screen turns black. Holding the jump button and then spinning, while either holding left or right the entire time, will get you off the ray and onto the floor around you. Landing too close to the ray will warp you back, so you'll have to leave and come back to try again. It's pretty difficult to get the timing down, and even to get a high enough jump to get to the floor, which is easier to do with Luigi. But upon landing on the floor, there are a few things you can do. While you are being taught how to angle your controller to steer the ray, you'll strut pretty weirdly across the ground. After passing the tutorial, when turning around while walking, the camera will snap very quickly to whatever direction you're facing. Going too far back will get you stuck behind an invisible wall. You can also swim in the water and pass the loading zone for the warp to the obstacle course, on top of the many different times the game will crash. But there's one thing that I hadn't seen done with this yet, and that is, what if you tried dying during this? You can't fall off the stage.
Objection!
It's false.
Now, these three knuckleheads, and I'm sorry boys, but that's what you are. They did a dumb thing, but I don't think they deserve to have their bright futures ruined by a momentary lapse of judgment.
Okay, so as it turns out, you can fall off the stage, which I later discovered. Either way, upon killing off one of the brothers by either falling off the stage or drowning in the water, I soon learned the weird stuff that the game will respond with. It spawned me back in the level with the teacher penguin asking if you want to learn how to ride a ray. I said yes to hear his tutorial again, but this time, upon going to the tutorial area, the race ended up starting on its own, with Luigi and the ray both completely out of sight. You can still take the tutorial if you want, which, upon finishing, will make the camera fly to the slide so you can see the track. If you manage to die during this tutorial by holding B to move, it will also fix the mission to where you're about to start the race. There were quite a lot of weird quirks shown here with Mario Galaxy, but the insane movement potential with Luigi and 2P jumps were beyond anything I had imagined, and we've only scraped the surface. If you're interested in seeing more, let me know down in the comments below. But of course, with that being said, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care and peace.